Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our channel. We are Millennial Mom. If you don't know who is who, I'm Millennial. This is Mom.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, I'm Mom or Kay from Millennial Mom, and today we're going to talk about 90 Day Fiancé, Love in Paradise, Season 3, Episode 12, Night Swimming, and it was also the season finale. Now, on tonight's episode, we have April and Valentine, Juan and Jessica. I really thought Juan and Jessica that they were over, their storyline was over when Jessica went home with the boys, but no, there was like a little tidbit with them on this episode. Jordan and Everton, and Scott, Liz, and Lydia. All right, so before I begin, if you haven't already, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave your comments so I know what you think about this episode, the finale, and just Love in Paradise in general, and the couple that's on the show. Also, tell a friend to tell a friend about the 90 Day Fiancé franchise that this channel does. And believe it or not, there's going to be another 90 day to take this place of the Love in Paradise next week. So there's a whole group of other couples already. So I'll be reviewing that as well. Okay, let's get started with this episode. So we'll begin with April and Valentine. So the background on April, remember if you watched the show or watched the reviews that Valentine in April's mind ghosted her because April was at his family's house to meet them. Because April's a doctor, she tends to be very OCD about things. She didn't want to use the restroom. She just didn't want to do too much of anything because she felt it wasn't at her own standards. That threw Valentine for a loop. And after the party, he left for about 3 days and April didn't hear from him, nothing. So what April did was she has another ex-boyfriend in the Dominican Republic that they have a business together with luxury vehicles, like luxury Ubers, like for like Escalades and different little things like that to get you around the Dominican. If you're part of the executive level with a corporation, that's what you use her business. So, but today, April said she actually reached out to Valentine because she's getting ready to leave to go home to see if he would come over to talk to her one last time. So she's at her rental place and knocks on the door. Is Valentine. He comes in and April sits down. She says hello, but she just has a look on her face. It's a look of defeat, in my opinion. That's also a look of, ooh, I really can't believe he's here. So April just starts off the conversation about, I've been in your country for a week, and for most of the time, you were nowhere to be found. And you know what? I didn't spend all this money, come all this way to spend it in a hotel room alone and not be with you. And so Valentine, and before I continue, they have to talk through the translator app because Valentine doesn't speak English. He may know a word or two. And the same thing with April, so they have to talk through the phone interpreter. He says to April, listen, I didn't like the way that you treated my family. I didn't like the way you made us feel, pretty much like we were less than you. And April says that, that was never her intention. She felt sorry about that and she apologized, but it was a little bit too late, especially last week when we saw them. Valentine stood out there and was like, well, what is it that you want to do? Because you have money, you makes it seem like you're more superior than us. Yeah, no, he wasn't here for it. He wasn't feeling April at all. And so then April says to Valentine, so what is it that you want to do? You want to continue on? You still want to be together? April in confessional says that even though she's prolonging still wanting to be with Valentine, that deep down she knows she needs to break up. Valentine said, yeah, it's okay that we take some time apart and reset and think about things. But I think that he already has his mind made up. Again, he says in confessional that because April has more money than us, she feels like she's superior, has power, and people with money tend to be stuck up. And to be honest, April did give that stuck up vibe when she first came to the Dominican when we met her, and when she was like looking around like, where'd you pick the hotel out again? Like, I don't like this type of neighborhood. And my thing is, you know what, if you wanted to stay somewhere in particular, maybe you should have chosen the neighborhood and had Valentine come meet you, because that was the goal, right? To spend time with each other on the vacation. But that didn't work out because April had her nose in the air the whole time and just felt like the surroundings, his family's compound and everything else was just like, she couldn't deal with it. So, they just had like a really brief conversation. Wasn't really too much said. Valentine, I guess she just came over because it was like the last day of him filming, I guess. And that was it. So then we see April the next day. She's packing her bags. She's headed to the airport. And she said that she's embarrassed. She still feels bad about what happened with the family. That was never her intentions. But now she's almost 40 years old, single, and having to start over. And she just doesn't know where to begin because she really thought that her and Valentine would be together forever. So then producers asked, so do you think that the doors are closed completely with Valentine? She said, she had to think about it for a second. She goes, maybe not completely closed, but not wide open either. She goes, but you never know what will happen when I go home. So I don't think Valentine would even, but he might though, it's just my opinion. I don't think that he would accept a call from April because, like he said, April walked around like she was stuck up and felt like she was better than his family and him. So yeah, I think he's just ready to let that go in general. All right, so let's move to Jessica and Juan. So Jessica says it's been 2 months since you've seen Juan, and Jessica's a little further along in her pregnancy now. Juan is going to be docking in Texas for the cruise ship. And Jessica said that Juan will have a little bit of time, like a week, to spend with her before he's got to go back out. And also, too, she wants to spend this time with Juan because when he does go back on the cruise, she won't be able to go see him anymore for the time being till after she has the baby, because it'll be a little bit too dangerous. And listen, she said she is not trying to have her baby out there on the high seas. Now, that was one of the few points that I agree with Jessica with that. And so when Jessica and Juan meet, Juan is Juan. I think he comes across like a nice guy. He seems, I know he's a little younger than Jessica. Not really sure. Maybe they're the same age, but he just seemed like he's just slightly a little more immature, I guess, in a way. But maybe because Jessica is a mom already to 2 children. And so, she's got to parent and do all these other things that kind of, well, not kind of, it definitely grows you up a little bit. So maybe that's where I'm getting the correlation where he seemed like he's maybe slightly younger when they could be the same age. So, they're having a good time together. They haven't seen, like I said, seen each other in 2 months. Juan, though, is saying in confessional that he's a little bit nervous about leaving the cruise and having to come to Wyoming in a rural place. Jessica's saying the same thing. She doesn't know how Juan will actually adapt to that, since he's used to being carefree on these cruises and just being like a single guy, that he may not necessarily fit in, or maybe want to go back to his lifestyle. Fit in meaning to the rural lifestyle, because I think it's like less than maybe 500 people where she lives. It's a big cow town. So yeah, not much to do. So anyways, as they're out on the town looking at souvenirs, because Jessica says she want to pick some up for the boys, she told Juan that, I just checked on the kids and they're with their dad and, they're having a good time. But Juan said, yes, but are they behaving? Okay. Because Juan told Jessica, listen, when you were in Colombia, I saw how they was acting. And, they could use, this is what Juan was saying. Let me just break down like this. They could use some manners. All right. He was tired of little Dennis the Menace, little Dawson and Dayton, or Dawson and Denver, whatever their names were, running around doing what they had to do and not listen to their mama. Because Juan said when he was younger, if he did some stuff like that, he would get, have a punishment. Maybe he would be on restriction or something. But, he learned that growing up, you have to listen to your parent. And so he's telling Jessica, like, are we going to have a problem with this? He goes, because I want the boys to listen to me also. And then Jessica says, well, we're on the same team. And yes, they'll have to listen to you and me. We'll have to learn to parent together. Now, what I was getting Jessica was saying with this is, Jessica, yes, has been a mom. I think her oldest is like 9, so for 9 years. But Jessica's used to parenting her boys the way she's used to parenting her boys. She clearly doesn't see anything wrong with that. Versus Juan, who comes from a more structured environment, Okay. Juan is trying to tell Jessica, please reel the boys in, get them some manners because I don't know if I'll be able to deal with this. Because Juan's thinking like, you, all this stuff that he's giving up, he doesn't want to give it up to live in a rural community. He don't have much say in Jessica children's life. He's having this baby. He's going to be an instant dad already. So he's like, really second guessing himself. But I have to say, Juan knew what he was getting into with Jessica. Jessica seemed like she was very transparent. He knew that she had two boys, right? Of course, Juan didn't know how the boys acted or nothing like that, but he already knew that she had a family, so it would already be instant family if they were going to be together. And it just happens to be that Jessica got pregnant, so now that is still going to be the baby's brothers and the baby's mother. So whatever style that Jessica parented the oldest two boys with, it's still going to be the same. So somewhere in the middle, Juan and Jessica, they're going to have to meet to see what works best for them if they stick together and continue on in their relationship, or, even if they're co-parents and not just like get married or whatever the case may be. So anyways, later in the episode, before Juan has to get back to the cruise and Jessica's going home, they actually go visit a place for an ultrasound to see what gender the baby's going to be. They both would like a girl. One had mentioned he wanted a girl a couple episodes ago to name the baby after his mother who passed away from the pandemic complications, and Jessica was on board with that. And on top of that, she has two boys, so she would like a girl. But the ultrasound tech told them that nope, it's not a girl, it's a boy. But again, that spoiler was already broke. They named the baby David. The baby was born in May of this year. So congratulations to the couple. I hope everything is working out with the baby, the brothers, and Juan and Jessica. So that's what that is. And you know what? I'm not sure if we're going to have a tell-all with this to see what else is going on with the show, unless they're going to come back for another Love in Paradise when it debuts again soon, I'm sure. All right. So let's move to Jordan and Everton. So this was a big mess from the beginning. Okay. Before Jordan even landed in Jamaica, when she got that phone call from someone, the voicemail telling Jordan that if you think Everton is your man, you would be wrong because he's sleeping with me. Okay, so from that point forward, Jordan was already rocking with Everton. Okay, and then when Everton went and took Jordan to meet his family after dating on and off for the first time after 12 years, and Everton's family said, so you guys gonna get married? Everton was like, not right now. That's not what I want. And then when Everton and Jordan went to meet one of Everton's best friends from when he was younger named Sheldon, Everton gets a phone call. Jordan takes her chance to talk to Sheldon. Sheldon drops the tea about, yes, I know about the lady he's giving money to. I thought I was over. Don't worry, you're number one. Just all these different little things went on for Jordan. And now everything has come to head. Jordan has finally boiled over and told Everton, listen, I'm tired of you giving my money away to these side women. Actually said these side pieces. You know what? She goes, how could you do that to me? We're supposed to be together. And Everton, he just seemed like he's cool and calm on the outside anyway. He goes, you know what, Jordan, I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean it. I love you. They don't mean anything to me. But Jordan's not trying to hear that. Okay. And I don't blame Jordan, but at the same time, I do. Because Jordan hasn't seen Everton in a very long time, many years, on and off relationship for 12 years. Jordan said out her own mouth last episode that all the money she sent to Everton for the business and just for him to have extra money to learn he's giving it to side pieces, that she herself didn't pay or put off paying bills and put off eating on the sake of Everton. And this is what he's doing. Oh no, Jordan. This is on you because you should have known better. You're not even married and you already have businesses and power of attorneys with Everton. Anyways, Jordan said that this trip with Everton, this was not a vacation and didn't feel like one either. And you know what? She don't want to be around Everton no more. Like, this is it. This is the end. And so Everton goes, oh, no. You can always come back. Jordan said, come back. Come back for what? If I come back, it'll be for me and it'll be a real vacation. So Everton says, so you trying to say you don't want to be with me no more? Jordan says, no, I don't. Like, what do you mean? You're doing all this extra stuff. Why would I want to be with you? She said, we're only good being business partners. So as far as that goes, yeah, we'll still be in contact. But outside of that, that's it. And I'm thinking, Jordan, when you get home to the States, you need to figure out how to get his name off the paperwork. I mean, she says that Jordan says that she knows that Everton can handle the business in the Caymans because he knows the island there and what's going on. But if she has all this faith in him, right? But all the extra stuff he did with to her on the side with these other women and no telling what else, she trusts that? But you know what, Jordan? You get what you get. But at the airport, though, Everton wished Jordan well. He said, you know what? I'm sorry, honey, but it is what it is. I'm sorry you feel that way. But I'll call you. Let you know what's going on with the business. Jordan was like, oh, okay, yeah, let me know. I'm like, call me? Oh, no. It's like, don't call me, I'll call you kind of thing. I really hope that Jordan gets that figured out, or else I think that, who knows? She may lose that business too. Maybe Everton got something else up his sleeve. We'll have to wait and see for that too. All right, now finally we move to Scott and Lidia. So when we see Scott, he tells us that Liz decided that she was going to go home because he said that he came on too fast, too quick. She felt like she was being pressured. But you know what? We actually see Liz. She came back. She's on the beach. She's talked to producer. She's saying that she thought Scott would change, but it was just too much for her and she had to go. You know, she couldn't deal with Scott putting all the pressure on her for whatever he was talking about. Because Scott he was seriously a lot extra touchy-feely. Do you like this? Do you like that? Do you love me? Do I love you? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, Scott was like really on the roll. He wouldn't like let up at all. Like, let her breathe. Well, Liz said to Scott, because they finally met up face to face after she talked to producers and he talked to producers separately, that, you know what? No hard feelings. Sorry, had to be this way. And they hugged it out. And she left to go back to wherever, whether it be Colombia or wherever she flew from to see Scott. And that was it. But then we see Scott. He said it's time to talk to Lidia and get things straightened out because, you know, he didn't like the note that they left off on. He said he's been in the DR for a week and he really wanted to talk to Lidia to set things straight. But then we see Lidia, she's actually waiting for Scott at a poolside or the beachside area. She said that Scott actually messaged her the evening before, said that he was still in the DR at the same hotel. And Lidia seemed like she thought he was already went home to the States. So she said that Scott even asked her for a second chance. So she decided to meet to hear what he had to say. So here comes Scott. He's like, buenos noches, Lidia. And Lydia's like, oh, hi. Right. And he actually like gives her like a little half hug. And so Lidia says, oh, my phone's not working. Because if you remember in other episodes, like Scott's translator app wasn't working because Scott doesn't know too much Spanish and Lidia doesn't know too much English. So they had like a serious language barrier. But this time they actually asked for an interpreter, which happened to be on set, probably one of the producers, right? So there was questions going back and forth. And Lidia was saying to Scott, she was upset, and I don't blame her. She was saying like, you know, how could you do this to me? You took my heart, you threw it away. Just all the things that she felt that Scott wasn't being honest. You were still talking to your Colombian girlfriend. Just the things that she felt that Scott did her wrong. And so Scott was saying that, yes, he created this, pretty much this illusion for himself that he wasn't doing things right. But then Scott said, you know what, Lidia, you're getting a little bit hostile. But then he broke out to the bombshell. The bombshell is, you know what, I apologize. I'm sorry. Can we build a friendship? And then he said, he has been in, how do you put it? He said he hadn't really had a relationship for 10 years since his divorce. He's had like ups and downs, trials and tribulations. So Liz was someone he talked to after the fact. He fell in love with Liz and she ghosted him. And, you know, he just thought he would be with her. But then he told Lidia about that bombshell that Liz actually came to the DR to see him. Lydia said, aquí, meaning here. And Scott was like, yeah, she came here. Lydia was like, oh, no, like, I cannot believe this. But I don't know. Are we giving props to Scott for being halfway honest, for telling Lydia the truth? Or does Scott feel like he had to clear his conscience because maybe he feels like karma has come around? Because he did say, I broke Lydia's heart. Now I know how it feels to have my heart broken because Liz broke my heart. So, yeah, I think it was a karma self-cleansing thing with Scott. But yeah, I don't blame Lydia for being upset with Scott. Lydia was trying to get her point across, like, we can't be friends. You use me. This is not what I want. And so Scott said, so we can't even just be friends. Can we at least close the chapter of what we had and just try to see what would work? Nah, Lydia's not here for this. And then she gets up. She walks away. She's like, you know what? Forget you, Scott, or whatever she said, right? And then Lydia, like I said, she walks away. And then Scott stands up and he's like messing with this mic pack or whatever. And then he turns to producers. He says, oh, does she want me to follow her? I'm like, Scott, no. Even producers like, no, I don't think so. I mean, Scott, read the room. Can he not read the room? Because when Liz said, oh, I need a space and I don't want to do this right now, he's like, oh, no, we need to talk like the day before. And so Lydia gets up, hands to the face, right? To Scott, walks away. It's like, oh, you want me to follow her? He is way too old not to know the signs and signals of leave me alone, give me space, it's over, that's it. So anyway, Scott said that he wanted to make amends with Lydia. He wanted to make amends with Liz, but he knows right now he can't do that. Then he takes off his shirt. He goes in the pool. He said, you know what? When his dad passed away, he said his dad raised him to be someone who was an upstanding man and to do the right thing. He said he don't think his dad is proud of him right now, and he wants to change that fact. He said he can't even sleep at night for all the things that he's done. I'm like, Scott, what else have you done? Other than this right here, like, what else have you done to not make you sleep at night? So Scott is carrying a lot of baggage and a lot of, I don't know, like a black cloud around with what, and the karma boomeranging around with whatever he's done that wasn't on the up and up in his relationship. So that was that. When we see Lydia, she's walking along the ocean. She's saying, you know what? No man, including Scott, could dim her light. And this is not the end of her love story. So who knows? We might see Lydia again on Love in Paradise if they come out with another franchise, and leave it to the 90-day producers, whichever franchise before the 90 days, Love in Paradise, after the 90 days, over the 90 days, whatever. There's always another franchise to take the place. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Lydia again. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Juan and Jessica again, Jordan and Everton again either. And who knows, maybe the other Carlos and Valentine again to be with someone else on their season. So that was it. That was finale. Tell me what you think about the episode. Thank you all again for watching. Don't forget to leave your comments. And until next time, everyone, live simply. Be grateful.